Welcome back to the Plus Money Podcast, your home for the best soccer bets in 15 minutes or less. It is a Champions League week. We got 4 games, tons of bets for you, tons of games. We have 2 days of 9 games of action across the Champions League. We have Europa League on Thursday. Thank you guys as always for following, for subscribing. He's Nick. I'm Andrew. You can follow us at Andrew Passaro, at Nick Dianni, at the Plus Money Pod. And if you're looking for more picks, you can always get them over on the Patreon, patreon.com/the Plus Money Pod. $5 a month gets you a bonus episode every single week. I smashed the picks last weekend. We dominated with the Frankfurt game, with the Chelsea game. We cracked even, more than even on the Marseille game. Elche we hit, and we did not bad, not great on Napoli. But very good weekend for the Patreon. Decent little weekend for us. Nick, are you excited for Champions League? It's an interesting slate.
Very excited. Champions League, I say it every time we talk about the Champions League. It's like my new standard opening. I love the new format. It's just good. We're going to get good matchups. Teams you've never heard of are going to play other teams you never heard of really, really hard and go all out and try to get as many points, as much money as possible. That's like one thing I don't want to be overlooked. Like there's a ton of money for every point you rack up in the Champions League. So might not mean a ton to Real or Atletico, but it's going to mean an awful lot to Karabag or Cologne or one of those teams. So makes for interesting drama.
100%. You spoke about Atletico Madrid. We will jump right to them. They're taking on Frankfurt. We saw Atletico get a massive win, 5-2, hang 5 goals on Real Madrid. I think the first time since 1950. Frankfurt getting to a game with 10 goals this weekend. And I don't know how both teams to score over 2.5 goals is -105. It's hitting 2 straight for Atletico, 4 of their 8. It's hitting 6 straight for Frankfurt, 6 of their 7 all competitions. I think you can sprinkle on Frankfurt team total over 1.5. This team loves to score goals. That's plus 255. They've hit that in 6 of 7 games this season. And this is an over game for me. Over 3.5 goals at plus 155 has hit in all 7 matchups for Frankfurt this season. It's hitting 3 of the last 4 for Atletico. I'm expecting goals at the Wanda. It's not called the Wanda anymore, but I'm
It's
expecting
Wanda.
goals at the Wanda. It's always going to be, to me, it's always going to be the Wanda. I'm expecting goals at the Wanda on Tuesday night. What are you liking?
Yeah, you took the bet right out of my mouth and you found a way better number. So we're going to give out your number. Frankfurt team total over 1.5 plus 255. That's nuts. Listen, not saying it's a stone cold lock, but Atleti has not really started the year off all that hot with the exception of this last win. Their defense isn't great. Frankfurt's been scoring at will. It's worth a stab because I think we both agree both teams to score is pretty much a given. Take a stab for them to get a second goal in this one plus 255. I think it's just way too good to pass up. They're going to be going all in for this one, and wouldn't shock me to see a letdown from Atleti.
It wouldn't either. I know Espanyol, Liverpool, and Real Madrid all scored 2 against Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
I think the only big team that they really stopped from scoring a couple goals on them is Villarreal so far this season. I'm going to at plus 255. It's just too good of a number staring me in the face.
Yep.
Galatasaray take on Liverpool also on Tuesday. This is a big get back spot for Liverpool because frankly, they got played off the park by a very good Crystal Palace team, but a Liverpool team does not get played off the park very much. They deserve to lose by much more on Saturday. Having one of the best keepers in the world definitely helps. That being said, flying to Galatasaray, tough road atmosphere. This is a big spot. I have 3 things I kind of like here. You got to play both teams to score in this game. Liverpool and both teams to score is plus 165. That's hit in, I think, all but I think now all of 2 of their games this season. They cannot keep, I guess, no, 3. They beat Arsenal with a clean sheet. They beat Burnley with a clean sheet, and they lost to Crystal Palace. But other than that, all the other games, both teams to score, Liverpool have gotten a win. I do think they will get a win over this Galatasaray team of Premier League rejects.
And
Um,
Serie A rejects.
yes, it is. It is a who's who of. Oh yeah, I remember that guy at an elite club 4 years ago. Um, One that I'm tracking for us, much like I love to play that Kukurea shot in the game at minus whatever if I can get it. Ryan Gravenberch one shot on target is plus 240. He's done that in 3 of 7 so far this season. He's popping up with goals. He's popping up with like rips here and there. 2 shots on target is also around plus 200. He's only done that twice. Um, I don't think that's a full unit play. I think that's just a little sprinkle because, like I said, he's popping up. I also could talk myself into first half over 1.5 at plus 105. Liverpool started early against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League already this season. They started early in the derby against Everton. Galatasaray are capable of scoring goals. It's hitting 2 of 5 for both clubs, so it's not exactly like again, it's not exactly like incredible value in terms of like return, but I do think these are two teams. I think Liverpool in particular need to get off to a good start, so I could see goals early in the first half.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say just to anybody, just proceed with caution. As you mentioned, Galatasaray, really solid team, tough place to go and play in the Champions League. They've been here before. And I think they also were on like some 20 game unbeaten streak before Frankfurt smashed them in the last Champions League game. So yeah, that Frankfurt team that we just bet on put five past this Galatasaray team. So just be careful. I mean, listen, play Liverpool, play an over. It's going to be an over 3.5 if you want to play it on its own or both teams to score. Um, and it could and should hit, but the way Liverpool, and they've gotten their results, but the way Liverpool hasn't come out firing on all cylinders, I'm not banking on them going in there and putting three past Galatasaray just because they should, right? I kind of need to see a little bit more from them at this point. Probably tired, huge fixture congestion early in the year. And it's tough to play from the top. It just is, right? You're the defending champs, and this kind of always happens to the defending champs the following year. That all that said, Mauro Icardi, if he is I don't know what happened to my voice there. Mauro Icardi, if he starts over 1.5 shots, not even shots on target, just to take shots, is minus 125. I think that's really, really solid for a Liverpool defense that hasn't really stopped anybody. He should be getting the bulk of the chances here for this Galatasaray team. So, spoke of those former rejects. I think he's the target man. So, if he is starting in this one because rest of the team has kind of been in limbo due to injuries and whatnot, that's the way to go.
That's a great value. Mateta was all over the place for Liverpool or for Crystal Palace against Liverpool over the weekend. Yeah, they definitely have been giving up chances to strikers. Napoli take on Sporting Wednesday. This is a not a great run of games on Wednesday. There's some like cheeky underdogs that I'll definitely play, but in terms of like big great games, I didn't think there was a ton. I think a lot of people are circling the biggest game of the round is Chelsea Benfica, but that's more so the Mourinho coming back to the bridge with the Portuguese team, acting like he didn't come back to the bridge with Manchester United or with Tottenham, but that people want to forget history. Napoli Sporting, Napoli rough result in Serie A did give me that over. I think they bounce back here at home. I think the Sporting team they've lost some pieces. Look out for their right winger, Trixau or whatever his name is really good. But this is a team that has gotten picked apart over the last few years, and I just don't have as much respect for them as I used to when they used to have Gyökeres. Like if Gyökeres was on the field, I'd be like me trying to talk myself into Sporting. Draw no bet here. I'm going to take Napoli money line. Team total over 1.5 is minus 115. That's not bad either. And if you're looking for a plus number, Napoli to win and over 1.5 in the game is plus 115. Like I think any one of those plays is good enough for me in terms
Yep.
of like value of what you're getting. I'm not a believer in the Sporting team right now.
Yeah, I agree. And Napoli have to bounce back from this weekend's result. They have to bounce back from the last result in the Champions League. I think they got hosed a little bit in that City game with the red card. Not hosed, but I mean it changed the entire
Yes.
trajectory of the game early on, right? So they never really had a chance to be in it. Whereas they're going to want and need points in this one. They're at home. I think the crowd will be there. I had Napoli money line as well at minus 115 and KDB anytime goal scorer plus 300. We've seen it. He is scoring from set pieces. So if they get a penalty, if they get a solid free kick, as long as that number's around plus 300, I'm going to be interested in it. So I think this is a good shot, good place to take a shot.
I agree. Barcelona takes on PSG in the battle of who is injured more. Lots of key players expected to be out in this game. Varying reports about João Neves, Vitinha, Desiree Doué, and Dembele are both definitively out. They're not back till October. But Gavi is now out. Rafinha is out. Fermin Lopez out for Barcelona. Lamine Yamal, who knows if he's going to start? He's been coming back from an injury, but came back for Barcelona as they went down over the weekend. And by the way, I don't know if we've said this on the podcast in a while, so I just want you all to remember this. if Barcelona and Real Madrid go down and it's not a big game in La Liga, so they're not playing in El Clasico or Atletico Madrid, you just take Barcelona and Real Madrid to come back. I got in the middle of the week, Barcelona were down. I forgot who they were playing, but they were down a goal, played them at minus 115. Easiest bet I hit all weekend. They came back, or middle of the week, they came back and scored two and won the game.
Yeah,
They did
I
the
got them at
same thing.
minus 110 this weekend.
Right. They did the same thing
Yeah.
against Real Sociedad over the weekend. They are the biggest and best teams in La Liga, and there is not the amount of depth on 80% of the teams in La Liga compared to the Premier League or other leagues. Barcelona just have three elite players to bring off the bench. Same thing with Real Madrid. That is the usually the best time to bet these La Liga clubs. So don't forget that. That rule does not always apply in the Champions League. If Real Madrid go down to Kairat on Tuesday in Kazakhstan, I think that rule applies. But in this game, that rule does not apply. But whatever. A lot of injuries for both teams. I could try to talk myself in a first half over 1.5 at even money. It's not a great number. It's only hitting 2 of 5 for the last two. PSG team total over 1.5 at plus 112 isn't bad, but then you're like, who's going to score the goals? Bradley Barcola should start. Kvara has been on and in and out with like an injury issue. He played for 45 minutes over the weekend and they got yanked. I do expect him to feature. So maybe they're going to play Gonzalo Ramos and run that front three, but Gonzalo Ramos is not exactly the guy I want for PSG leading the line. Um, I found so the other two things that I like, Kvara, if he starts, 2 shots on target is plus 230. We know Barcelona play that super high line. He can get in behind and get some rips on net. But Hakimi, 1 shot on target at plus 130 or 2 shots in the game at minus 115. He's hit that in both of his last two starts. After a little bit of a slow start, he's another guy like that. You'll see me just routinely play shot on target, 2 shots on target. Doesn't really matter who PSG are playing because as much as he is a right back, he's a right winger on any other team in the world, and he just bombs forward. What are you thinking here?
All I'm going to say is it's a really tough game to handicap because you can talk yourself into any result because any result is really okay for either of these teams. I don't think a loss is devastating. I don't think a win is that uplifting. I mean, maybe it is. I think a draw is probably fine. I mean, anything could happen. You want to look at the numbers and see PSG with these big, huge, beautiful plus signs that you haven't seen on PSG in 10 years. Maybe you go with it, right? The double chance is like minus 115. I don't think that's bad, but it is at Barca. So I don't know. I'm going to take a really weird stab with this one. Both teams to score second half plus 160. Just because of kind of what I said. I think yeah, both are injured, but that means that's an opportunity for other players to step up. I think both teams will want to go for 3 points or will want to go to come back if they're down or whatever the case may be. There's no reason to not. With worst case scenario, we see a 0-0 snooze fest and we lose all our bets. But I don't see that happening with these two teams, regardless of who's on the pitch. So we're going to give it a stab. Plus 160, both teams to score second half.
Yeah, I like that a lot, actually. I think too, you have two teams that different rosters that are figuring out how to play amongst each other, sniffing out the opponent. I definitely could see the second half being goals, which drama. Who doesn't love it in the Champions League? That will wrap it up from us. One more weekend, and then we have international break, unfortunately. Um, But I know at a bare minimum, it's Liverpool Chelsea Saturday 12:30. Don't remember any other game. Oh, it's Juve Milan this weekend too. So bare minimum, there's at least a couple good games before we go back to the cold, desolate wasteland that is international break. But don't worry, we have you covered. Like I said, bonus picks coming on the Patreon for this weekend, and I have a couple more plays that I like. I will write up in like a blog form on Patreon for the middle of the week. I also will have goal scorer props. We will be doing that every single week for Champions League because there's a lot of weeks that the goal scorer, like a Harry Kane or like an Erling Haaland or whoever, is like minus 110 in their league, but then they play in the Champions League and you know they're going to score and you don't realize that, oh, wait, that number is plus 165 and the value's there. So Champions League, in my opinion, is a really great spot to get some good goal scorers. We saw some niche guys go and score a ton last year. Who's the striker for Dortmund? I can see his face.
Adeyemi, Girassi.
Girassi had a ton of goals in the
Yeah.
Champions League last year, and you were routinely getting him at like plus 150. So we're gonna try to find some guys over on patreon.com/the plus money pod. $5 a month. It's $1.25 a week if you want to think about it like that. It's $5 a month is still less than
This
a cup of
costs more.
coffee. Literally. The yes, no free ads. But $5 a month. We'll see you guys later in the week because we'll have more picks for you for the weekend. Until then, best of luck. See you soon.